Prayer is never the last resort of God's people. It should be our first point of action. The prayer that is always a blessing, the prayer that is always effective, is the prayer that recognizes the spiritual self of one for whom we pray. We pray not to change a person, but to bless him by beholding the Christ in him. True prayer brings an inner quickening and a release of the divine power. We pray for the light and guidance, for life and health, for freedom and fulfillment, for prosperity and success. We pray beholding the perfection of God, the change that comes about, good comes forth. Please bless Jogga County to come out of this challenging time stronger. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Jim. That's nice. Okay. So, agenda item number 1, Commissioner's Office requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes for the meeting of April 7, 2020. Motion, please.
So moved. Second.
No, I didn't know that there was, I wonder if Maria fixed up by mistake. Commissioner DeBoer?
What do you have?
No.
Is this an illegal pad? Did anybody see a legal pad? Did
I'll
you
go
fix
check
it?
with,
Maria?
it was put up on the.
She might have grabbed it.
So I'll go with it.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer?
Yes. Okay, and Commissioner's Office requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes for the meeting of April 21st, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer?
Jerry?
Okay, so on May 11th, for maintenance, I approved hiring Christian Rose, Nicholas Tilk, and Genesis Foltz to the positions of full-time summer help to be effective May 26th, 2020 through September 30th, 2020, or the start of school, whichever comes first, at the rate of $10.25 per hour, the second year, for up to 21 weeks, maximum 840 hours. And I also accepted the resignation of Patrick Blotch, maintenance worker, to be effective May 31st, 2020.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Adrian.
Good morning.
Review the financials.
Yes. Today's financials include a then and now from the Commissioner's Office to Portage Jogga Juvenile Detention Center for a portion of the detention center support invoice that was not previously encumbered. A contract purchase order from the Commissioner's Office with Cecina and Associates for the financial consulting services as it relates to the funding of the new buildings. And among the vouchers are $67,731.75 from the Commissioner's Office to Ohio State University for our second quarter 2020 commitment, $397,162.50 from the Commissioner's Office to Then Design Architecture for design and planning of the new county offices, $25,000 from Community Development to Signet Juniper LLC for payment number 2 on the county's strategic plan, and $57,423.50 from the Engineer's Office to Grade Line Incorporated for the Aquila Road drainage improvements.
The then design payment, that is for work that's been performed up till now for over the last year and a half
That
or
is
so.
actually work that was performed up through the first week in April.
Okay. Very good. Any questions or comments? Okay. Motion to approve financials, please.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner
Aye.
Spudler?
Yes. Thank you, Adrian. Okay, so today we have 3 representatives from the school board from Newberry. If you'd like to... And West Jogga, yeah. And I believe you're here today just to talk about the merger and some of the possible happenings that may be going on with the buildings and the land in the future here. So if you just want to introduce yourselves.
Sure, yes. My name is Maggie Zock. I'm here as a representative from the Newberry School Board. I'm the president. This is Bill Beers.
Dr. Bill Beers, I'm president of the Westview School Board.
Nice to meet
I
you.
think y'all know this gentleman.
Dave.
Yeah.
Newbie board member.
Yeah.
Yes, so we're here on behalf of them. We, as of June 30th, the territory transfer is effective officially. So we are in the process of trying to figure out how the property and buildings part of that transfer will take place currently. So we're engaging, we approached our township last week and engaging them in, I guess, gauging their level of interest or any resources or brainstorming ideas that they would have. We're here to do the same for you and see if there's any county resources or needs of the public that would need to be served or could be served on that property. We are having Dion Demetrio from Burgess & Burgess, who's facilitating our public and engaging them and getting those brainstorming ideas. She has offered for us to do breakout sessions with any entity that might be interested in helping us come to a positive change. And as you guys know, that property is in the heart of Newberry and sort of for the county. So we're trying to make a positive change for not only our new district, but for Newberry Township and Geauga County. So we're trying to engage those who may have an interest or be a stakeholder in that conversation to be a part of it. So that's what we're here.
So, yeah, no, and we really appreciate you, coming to the, our meeting today. But one of the things that strikes me first is, we are in the process of looking for possibility of relocation of our senior center, and also, our jobs and family services. And I don't know, what it would be something that would at least be worth us taking a look at of trying to, to see what that is, because it is. I mean, that's truly almost like a center of the county than anywhere else, and that's, especially with the times that we're in right now, that may not be a bad opportunity there if it made sense for us, so that maybe we can talk to Craig and also and see if there's a possibility that he would have an interest, and or Jessica from our Department on Aging also, on that, but yeah.
And Dion is in the process of collecting some nice data points and information that might be helpful and relevant to you guys to be able to answer any questions that might be able to help facilitate and exploring any of those options. So I can let Dion know if you have an interest in at least talking about it and exploring it, that she invite you to a session where we can discuss further, or she can get those documents to you. That would be, we do, and I'm speaking for myself, obviously, we're not in a quorum with our boards, but we do believe that whatever happens with that property, going through this process and exploring every option that would be positive for economic growth or development in that center of town to serve our public would be in best interest for.
And how many acres is that total complex there?
39.
39.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's two buildings. The one building was started in 1928 and it was added on to repeatedly. And it's about 96,000 square feet for the main building. When you go by there, you see that. The other building, which is where the auditorium and the library branch is, that's about, 36,000 square feet, I think, 30,000 square feet. And that was built in 72.
Okay.
So was there any thought prior to entering into the merger agreement with West Geauga as to what the outcome of that building would be before you got into the merger talks, or was this?
As you know, maybe you don't know, but it's been a process just to get the legalities of the actual transfer, to get our kids educated in the transfer. That process took a lot longer than anticipated, and we had a lot of, we had a referendum period. There were just to get that part of it was a big hill to climb. So what happened with the buildings and property, our communities were just not prepared to walk down that road until there was legal finality to that conversation. So it delayed us, and then we had a switch of board, Newberry did, which helped, and then the COVID hit. So we've been trying to keep the momentum going as much as we can to get conclusion. West Geauga, as you guys know, will make the final decision once the transfer goes over June 30th. But they've been, since day one, really interested in taking the advisement from Newberry and Newberry's public and what would best be used for that property. So
What to do,
it's
yeah.
been helpful. We've been working together.
As you probably could already imagine, I mean, you know, the county, we're in a situation here where, my opinion at least, is we're trying to get out of situations like old buildings that cost us a lot of money to continue to maintain and not to say that building isn't a wonderful school building, but, and couldn't potentially be retrofitted to do that, but it's still an old building that would need to be maintained. And, you know, so, you know, I think the Consolidation Road is still the trail that I'm still on at this time, but, you know, depending on what happens in the future, you know, we may be forced to make other type of accommodations there, so, you know, I appreciate you coming out and letting us know that, you know, I think it's smart for you to go out and engage all the different entities throughout the county to see if there is potential repurpose for that, you know, and I'd like to see something hopefully go in there that, you know, helps Newberry and helps the county, and whether it's business or some type of other activity in there. Was there any interest at all from the township, or they just, you know, it's probably I'm sure a financial situation for them too to take that on, but did they have any thought, is there anything thrown out there at all?
Yeah, we as last week we approached them, they seemed interested, and they took us up on our offer to come to a breakout session with Dion. They've done a public records request for documents that are pertaining to exploring what that financial liability might be and how they might prepare, what they might need it for, all of those conversations are.
Sure.
We wanted to come to them ahead of time so that they could speak as a board in their board meetings leading up to our public session with them. May 20th is when we have a public Zoom meeting where we'll actually get public input from public participation. We'll try to entice people to start.
So Dave, the library's still there, right?
Yeah, and the library was there because it was there rent-free because it was providing librarian services for the school district. So it was a savings for the school that Geauga Public Library came in and ran the school's library for them.
Right,
With
yeah.
the school going away, you know, I think the library likes being there. The community certainly likes them being.
Have you had a chance to, I mean, is it talking out of school, have you had a chance to speak with the library?
So, and I'll speak for myself, but as I said, we approached Township, we're approaching you with the Geauga Parks, Geauga Public Library, any public entity that might have interest. We're engaging to see what information they need and if they have a level of interest to continue service. And it may not be realistic for one of those to take on that full burden, but maybe a combination of them. It's really, all ideas are open right
Maybe you
now.
can explain the process for disposition of property that West G's got to go through.
Sure. So Newberry, well, West Geauga or Newberry, any school district in the territory transfer per ORC 331113, I think it is, don't quote me, but we have to go through first right of refusal to any community or charter school in the new existing district first. There isn't any that exist. So then we can look at public auction or we can go through transferring it to any other taxing entity.
So it's got to be taxing it, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're exploring.
You have to do that first?
Yeah, that would be before the
You
public.
don't have to
Yeah.
legally.
You don't have.
You can do one or the other. You
Okay.
can go to public auction or you can do the taxing entity. It's what.
But you can't negotiate with a non-public entity. If it is non-public, it has to go through auction.
Yeah.
Where with a government taxing entity, we can negotiate with you directly without an auction.
Fair enough, yeah.
Right.
And so our view is that we should approach the public entities first and figure out whether or not it makes sense to do a deal
Mhm.
with the public entity before going to an auction, because there may be some real synergy things that we can make happen by getting a number of the public groups to work together.
Mhm.
You mentioned about the building being old. Even the newer building is not new, but The old building is certainly very old,
Mhm.
but they can be handled separately too.
Mhm.
So it may be.
So you could parcel it up?
We have
Yes,
7
we could
parcels
parcel it up.
now.
We could say, you know, let's just hypothetically say that a number of the governmental authorities say, yeah, we would like to use the smaller building, but we have no interest in the big building. They can be split apart.
I see.
So don't think of this as being an all or nothing kind
I
of
see.
thing.
Okay, that's good to know. And in that back piece, I know there's been, talk in years past of doing something with like because there's a big plot of land behind the
Yeah.
school, right?
Yeah.
That's always been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're hoping to see, when we open up to public participation, we're hoping, we all get approached personally, or, we've been trying to funnel them through our treasurer at West Geauga, to anybody who's had interest to go to one person. But we'd like for those people who have approached to come forward publicly.
Officially, yeah.
Officially. So
What
we-
about the West Geauga? Was there any thought into doing something with that building, or for the school district's point of view? I mean, is there anything you could think of, like, or just no interest at all from West Geauga?
Yeah. From the school district and using it as an educational place, there's really not a need for the space. We're bringing in the students from Newberry to our central location, and we still got space even with that, because the school used to hold an awful lot more people than it's got, even with combining the two districts. So from our viewpoint, there's no need for those buildings for our educational purposes.
I see. Very good. Any other questions?
No, I just, you answered the question of what was West G School Board's perspective of the buildings, and you just answered that. But, well, I did live in Newberry for 21 years, and so I did contribute a couple dollars to those facilities, and worked around the football field and concession stand and all that stuff that was built. But, yeah, it's towards the center of the county. I think we'll at least have some conversation for what our needs are and possible collaboration, and just go from there. But again, I appreciate you guys coming in and putting this on the table for us.
Thank you respectfully for giving us the time. We appreciate it.
If I may make one more comment, because a comment that you made about what West G's intention for the buildings are,
Yeah.
type of thing. I answered the question about our need for the building. Our intention for the property is to make this as positive an outcome as possible for the new school district. And that includes Newberry Township, obviously. And so for this to be a positive outcome, it needs to be something that makes financial sense for the whole district, for the community. It needs to be educational sense for all of the kids that are involved, giving them new opportunities and making sure that everything gets developed in a way that promotes the district and that particular area. One of the things that we are emphatic about is it's not going to become an eyesore. We've lived through that before with Chester School and with Russell School to some degree as well. And we want to make sure that that doesn't happen in Newberry.
We appreciate that.
For sure.
Thank you.
And the only other thing is if you haven't met Dave Favorite, if it were to go down to the, position of, bidding and auction, Dave would be a great contact. He's, runs our economic development.
I introduced him.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay.
Sir.
Yeah, we met.
So,
But, yeah, no, we appreciate you guys coming in and taking the time out of your day to be here.
Thank you.
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Great. Any other questions or comments from anybody, or? No? Okay, thank you again. Thank you.
thank you.
We'll move along to agenda item number 6. Shane?
Morning,
Yes,
gentlemen,
sir.
ma'am.
How are you?
We have a total of 5 items on the agenda today. The first one is requesting the board award the bid contract for the improvements on Taylor Wells Road. It is a resurfacing project from Clarendon Troy up to the near intersection of Mayfield Road, and then we are replacing a large failing culvert under the road and realigning the intersection at Taylor Wells and Mayfield so that it's directly across instead of the offset intersection, which has been somewhat of a safety issue for quite a long time. Our original estimate was $815,000. It's a locally funded project. The bids came in very favorable at $745,000. So we're asking that the board award that contract with Bonnie Paving.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Right.
Yes.
A question on Mayfield Road and this road, Clarendon, or Taylor Wells and that. Is it gonna be like a study for the lights to be in sync? Because sometimes when you come out that entrance, the street on the Mayfield, it just seems like periodically it's bottlenecked.
There isn't a traffic signal at Taylor Wells, so.
Well, I know, but at Aquila
Oh.
and at 44, are those,
They are both ODOT maintained traffic signals.
Okay.
There is a component at NOACA that they have fund that studies putting multiple signals in a phased or coordinated system. And we've been told repeatedly that Geauga County doesn't have enough traffic volume or signals to meet those funds.
Okay.
That we've talked about traffic lights on 306 and Bainbridge or Washington Street, and repeatedly have been told that there are in our regional area there are more congested, higher focused areas, but it's not.
Doesn't qualify.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean that it won't someday. It just
not now.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we will move on to number 7.
Number 7, the Geauga County Engineers Office is requesting the board approve and execute the new price contract with Rhinebeck Paving for the asphalt resurfacing of Aquila Road. This is a federally funded project through CEAO. They are contributing 80% of the cost, and the total bids were $533,000. Our local share would be about $106,000. So it's a great opportunity to improve the section of Aquila from Mayfield Road up to the city of Chardon. That we did some culvert work recently. I think that was on the financials. We did a little culvert project ahead of that, get ready for this resurfacing project.
So this is just resurfacing.
Correct. From Mayfield to.
And you've already done all of it. You've finished everywhere else?
Yep.
Yep, okay.
Yep.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Yes.
What do you want to sign that?
You guys are the owner on the side, I have to sign it this way.
The next two projects are kind of similar in nature. They're safety projects. CEAO, every about 4 or 5 years, they put out a memorandum offering assistance to do guardrail improvements and pavement marking improvements to improve general safety. And we were able to secure grants for both of those. Initially, the grants were quite a bit smaller. We were fairly aggressive in our attempts to improve many runs of guardrail throughout the county, as well as striping on about 95 miles of county roads. We got some really good news a few weeks ago that the funds, those particular funds, had fewer applicants than were expected, and they increased our grant amount to 100%. So Right now, both of those projects, the guardrail improvements and the striping improvements will be paid entirely with CAO funds.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
For clarification, did you just do 8 and 9 together?
Yes,
Talk about
yes, yes,
Supervisor DeWart?
Yes.
Supervisor Spiller?
Aye.
Supervisor Leonard?
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
One more.
Oh,
The county engineer's office is requesting the board approve and execute a unit price contract with Great Line for the replacement of the Tilden Road Bridge. This is a county-maintained bridge structure on the township road, Tilden in Troy Township. The estimate was $185,000. Bids came in just under $154,000, which we're happy to see. This is an Ohio Public Works funded project that received approval last year, so that funding is already locked in place at a $75,000 grant, which is right around half of the cost. So we would perform that culvert work, and the township has a pending project, resurfacing project to redo all of Tilden Road. So this bridge has been on our radar for a number of years, and we kind of were trying to wait until, a year or so before the township, and they're ready to do Tilden Road either in 2021 or 2022 is the plan.
so is this just the, I'm sorry, Jim, is this the, just our portion of it?
Just the bridge.
Okay.
Any culvert or drainage facility that's 10 feet in span or larger is the county's responsibility to maintain on township roads and county roads.
Okay.
It excludes state routes.
Okay.
Anything smaller than 10 feet on a township road is
It's a township.
a township drainage facility.
I see.
This is a bridge, even though it's a box culvert, it's considered a bridge by the state, so we own it and we maintain it.
Okay.
What's the span on that?
This one is a 24 by 5 foot box, pretty big.
Yeah.
And right now, I believe it's a twin corrugated metal barrel. Bottoms are gone and quite a bit of issues with the condition of the road, so
Yep.
it's due.
So moved.
Second?
Supervisor DeWart?
Yes.
Supervisor Spiller?
Aye.
Supervisor Leonard?
Yes.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, the probate juvenile court is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute amendment form fiscal accountability number 2, attachment A, page 2 of for year 2020 Ohio Department of Youth Services grant to reallocate funds within the grant for the purchase of software licenses and tools to allow clients electronic means to complete and submit requirements digitally. Any questions or comments?
Anybody here from the court?
I don't think so. I don't think they ever come, so. I don't know. I saw they sent an email. I reviewed it. I don't know if you guys did or not, but I did.
Yeah, I did. I make that motion.
Second?
Supervisor DeWart?
Yes.
Supervisor Spiller?
Right.
Supervisor Leonard?
Yes. Okay, and then, building. Morning.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Morning. Busiest guy in the county right now. Right, we're close.
We're holding our own.
Good, good. Okay. Go. Okay, if you want to. Go ahead and, Mike's, this is the accepting his resignation.
Yeah, so last year, about the same time, myself and Mike flip-flop positions. I took over as building official and Mike took the assistant position.
Right.
We did a couple things at that time. One, we changed the job description from the assistant position from a full-time position down to a part-time position for 32 hours a week to make the adjustment for Mike.
Mm-hmm.
He's decided after his 38 years of service with the county that he's hang it up. Yeah.
Officially, yeah.
Yes.
Do
So,
we have to let him go right now?
Well, hopefully we can keep it tapping his resources.
Yeah.
It's gonna be on speed dial for a little while.
Yeah.
But, so it's to accept his resignation, to make the job description change back to a full-time position, and then also to get permission from you guys if we could start advertising for it, realizing that there's a hiring freeze
Right.
until June, but at least to hopefully start putting out feelers to attract somebody to the position.
Definitely. I mean, this is a unique position in the county for sure, you know, trying to find good qualified people to fill these positions. They're just not falling off of trees, you know, falling off of trees. But what's your feeling now with, I mean, Mike's been carrying a lot, I'm sure, right now, the load out there on a day-to-day basis. I mean, with him, you know, going to be gone June 13th, I mean, what do you think the impact will be for you?
So we, just even going down to the part-time hours with him, we had to make some adjustments. Luckily, the staff has been cooperative, you know, working 4 days a week. You know, a week that somebody's on vacation or has to do something else, you know, we're kind of pinched with manpower on those days. Luckily, we have great contractors in the county as well that also help that process. Not having him around or having that position filled is going to be an adjustment until we can replace it. What we're finding through this scenario right now is that with the guys starting from home, it allows a little bit less travel time. So we're squeezing in a couple more inspections a day because of that. But at the same time, we're losing the office help in the morning with doing plan review and stuff. So there's a trade-off to that. But we can make some adjustments to it, but it's going to be, you know, it's definitely a position that we want to have.
So changing the job description back, what would it be then?
Really, nothing changing the job description except for the fact that it went from a 40-hour-a-week position to a 32-hour-a-week position. The duties didn't change.
Okay.
It was just simply
Okay.
changing it from a full-time position to a,
But the new job would be 40 hours.
yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any counties or communities that do subcontract the plan reviews? Like have somebody come in
So-
every Tuesday for 4 hours or something like that?
Yeah, so there is a private service company out there that offers up inspection relief, plan examination relief. Currently, all of our commercial plans go out through plans examiners. That a couple of them have offered up if we need assistance. The problem with that is that it also brings up the permit cost. Every time we send out a plan to be reviewed by one of our plans examiners, it's a $90 an hour charge that gets directly related to the permit cost. Where we do it in-house, we kind of absorb some of that, so it's not as much. And we've had the fees adjusted accordingly for us to review instead of our outside sources. So it's a cost saving to anybody submitting, applying for a permit, but it's an option that we might have to go to, prefer not to.
And you're looking for an experienced individual here, I would think, right?
Yeah, so there's a limited supply, as we talked about, proportion in the state. There's only probably about 150 individuals who have both building official certification and multiple other certifications.
Mhm.
So the draw is already limited. Personally, I'd like to try to find somebody to train under me. I've got 26 years down, so in 5 years or so, I'm eligible for retirement. It'd be nice to get somebody in to sort of train to succeed myself when that time comes.
How many years do you have now, Dan?
What's that?
How many years do you have that?
26.
Well, okay.
Yeah, certainly, that's the plan for sure. You know, I'm a little, I'm a little hesitant to, I want to go ahead and say, yeah, let's go ahead and start advertising it for it, but we did put a hiring freeze on for a reason, and it's not, I think, directed at any one department individually or to pick and choose, saying one's more important than the other. I don't know if it's possible to wait till June 30th or June 13th and then see where we're at to see about the hiring freeze, or if you want to consider saying this is important enough, yeah, we go ahead,
This is unique, I'll tell you,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
we went through this the last
Yeah.
time, oh my God, it took us forever to find somebody. You know, and the thing too is, if we could start to get some interest out
Or at least
there.
advertise.
Yeah, that was the
Prolong the
discussion we
date
had.
for
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree
That
with
was the
that.
discussion we had was, by the time we get through the process of just advertising,
Well,
we're gonna
okay.
be into June.
Okay.
And then by the time you get through, if you get applications in, get through interviews, we're gonna be
Yeah.
well past June
Oh, yeah.
15th
Yeah.
before we. So it's-
You know,
And any discussion I would have with the
Yeah.
individual know that there is a hiring freeze until
Yeah.
a certain time.
But you know what I'm saying though too, right?
No,
Like,
I-
it's
yeah.
kind of like, because everyone can justify the importance of,
Yeah.
you know, and rightly so, you know, but that's the whole reason for hiring freezes, you know.
Yeah, and we're not, I
Yeah.
mean, we wouldn't do any hiring, but we've
Yeah.
got a key position here that,
Right.
you know, with the resignation, or, you know, not, I don't even like the word resignation, or retirement, you know?
Yeah,
And, but yeah, I know this is a hard position and across the whole state to hire for.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
and they wouldn't need to have both those certifications if they were gonna train under you, right? Or, I mean, it'd be nice if they did, but realistically, they might not.
Correct, so so there's multiple certifications that you have. There's electrical safety inspector, there's both residential and commercial certifications that you have. But there is also a building official certification that you have to have, your department has to have a certification for each one of those in order to have any inspections performed. So as long as we have myself on staff with the building official certification, that individual we hired doesn't actually have to have it when we hire them, but when they would take over, they would have to have it.
Start working towards
Or
it.
it'd be something that you would have to contract out for at some point in time. There's also been a lot of talk about the abolishment of the health department plumbing inspector position at the state level. And there's
Makes sense.
a lot of grumbling because they can't keep that position staffed in a lot of health departments. And so there's been talk about having the Board of Building Standards absorb that at the county levels.
Makes sense.
Most municipalities already have the plumbing in the Board of Building Standards division in their municipalities. So it would be something else that potentially might be down the line that you'd be absorbing more department plumbing inspection. Whether that be bringing over their inspector they have or then hiring somebody who has certification to do it. I currently do have the Board of Building Standards plumbing certification. So if we had to take it on immediately, we have it covered right now, but it would be need doing the inspections and needing some.
Understood, yeah.
Eventually, but, so there's many options to sort of look for somebody with the different certifications that are out there. It's just finding that individual that fits our situation.
If that happens across the state, that'd be, sometimes it'd be streamlining the system for someone building a house.
Yes, sure, at the county level here.
Especially if
definitely
that
help us,
person has city water and sewer, but your department would be the only department you'd have to go to.
Right. Yes.
Well, so 12, 13, and 14 are all everything we just discussed, basically. I guess the question would be if the board would want to continue to go out and grant permission to advertise for the full-time position of assistant building official. This position will remain posted until filled. I'm a little hesitant is just because of what we had said a few weeks back about a hiring freeze, but I do understand the position the building department says, and we do not want to leave that unattended. So I don't know, you guys, I'm going to kind of leave it up to you on that one.
I'm okay with it. We have to get going on this, and just we'll hire after the hiring freeze, that's all.
I'm definitely good with it.
Okay.
I make a motion for 12, 13, and 14.
Second?
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Locke?
Yes. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
great.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Dave.
Dan?
Dan mentioned to me yesterday that he wants to come back to the board, maybe in June, to recognize Mike's years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
make a resolution or something.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
About it, just-
How long was he here?
It's 182.
Yeah.
So that 37
Yeah.
years.
I was gonna say,
He's got a great reputation too, you know what I mean, for all those years. I mean, I talked to contractors, you know, as you know, I called you about one yesterday, you know, and I hear a lot of good, you know, I've hear people every once in a while, they have questions or, you know, but you guys always take care of it quickly and answer their questions, and usually at the end of the day, it was something maybe they were, you know, missing, and you helped them through it instead of it, you know, being punitive or delays, or, so you guys have done a good job from everything I've heard out there,
Yes.
yeah.
I just here to help them be the iron fist.
Yep.
Right, no,
That's
no,
right.
You guys do it, we hear it a lot.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Thank you.
And Mike's well-known across the state, was served on, as
Yes.
officer of different
Yeah, it's the organization I'm president of that now, it's sort of following up their footsteps in other ways too, is Bocconi was the Board of Building Officials Conference in Northeast Ohio. Mike served as president of that for a couple of years. He's still down on a board. He's the electrical advisory committee down at the state as well. So anybody who applies for electrical safety inspector certification, Mike's on that board who reviews their application and decides whether or not they're qualified to sit to get the test.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of effort.
Yeah, he's been involved. He's been a great example for our industry in a whole, just with all the meetings and stuff he's put with. So.
It's great, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay, transit.
Back again.
Hello.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Number 15 is the grants we apply for every year, 5311, 5311 is the capital maintenance and operating grants, which is federal and state funding. The 5339 is the capital for the buses and any equipment that we need. This year they've added what we call the Ohio Transit Partnership Program, OTP2. All it is the state trying to figure out what our future is. They want us to apply for everything that I want the next 4 years in the way of projects. They're going to put them in a number scale. And then that's how what this 5339 money is, depending on the rate on that scale. If we apply for everything in the next 4 years, by the time that 4-year plan gets here, we've got a chance of getting it. So we're going to do it on a scale. So the 5339, if I only do that, it's just what I want this year, and it's a lower scale because I haven't asked for it in the past. So the more times I ask for it, the more odds that I will
You get
get
it.
to do it. So all they're doing is looking at 4 years out instead of just 1 year at a time. That's the only thing that's changed. I mean, it's still the exact same, it's still going to go through the same funding. They're just looking for us to parallel farther in advance.
I see.
So that's all those are. So we're just asking to actually apply for those. Those are due actually at the end of the month, so I don't have to tell you, we're still getting quotes on some of the equipment I need. It's not just that it won't be not meeting until the 28th, it's due the 27th. So,
Yeah.
so I'm here now without actual numbers because I haven't finished the projects. Quotes, we still have quotes out there.
Does this include your buses?
Yes.
Buses, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And any other equipment that would go with it?
What I'm looking at is equipment like we're going to need a shop to lift.
Gotcha.
It's 15 years old, it's not done,
Tools
it's not
and-
done yet. Tools, air compressors, some of the things that are of the bigger nature of wheel balance. So we're trying to look ahead to see maybe the next 4 years, there's an air circulating vents in the garage, maybe down the next 4 years. So we're trying to get some quotes on it. So we're looking down the road for any of those big building projects that we need versus just painting a wall. And I'm looking for the big projects to try and get help funding those.
Okay.
Is there anything for safety or like cleaning or cleansing the buses?
That is under operations and not a whole lot, but the next one down is going to be, the CARES Act grant is where
Got
that's
it,
coming in
got
right
it,
now.
okay.
So that's the next one down, but under the regular grants, we do get part of it, but it's just 50% of what we use for cleaning. So that's always been included, but the next one down is the CARES Act, which is going to cover more of it this year.
Okay, a motion on number 15, please.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, and 16 is the CARES Act, which is through the federal funding for cleaning. What they've done is taken my budget and they just doubled it and said that we can get 100% between now and the end of the year. Since they don't know what we're going to spend and they know we're all spending a lot of money on cleaning supplies and we're not getting any revenue from transportation rides. So this CARES Act is actually just the 5311 money that I was awarded. They just doubled it and are willing to give us 100% at the end of the year to cover our costs for our cleaning because they know all of us are spending this much money on sanitation.
Okay, that's.
Yeah, out of the ordinary, you know.
A lot of the ordinary, right? I mean, I've spent tons of money on cleaning. We've always sanitized our vehicles, but I have never deep sanitized every day. The drivers typically don't sanitize much money per person than they are now. We've got shower curtains out to protect the drivers. We've got PPE gear for all the drivers. So I've spent a lot of money on different things for the drivers and the protection of the clients and the drivers.
Excellent, okay. Motion on 16.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, what resources?
Even though you're here.
Can't we rotate the departments?
Yeah. Did you sneak in?
Sit back or hide.
How are you?
Good. Good. I have 5 items today for the commissioners. The first one being a simple correction to a bank account number that was incorrect for our payment instruction to the OWDA for the Auburn wastewater treatment plant. So we had to go through this again to correct the one digit in the bank account number.
Money coming in or going out?
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Yes.
Number 18, requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the request for partial payment number 4 for Workman Industrial Services for the Auburn Corners wastewater project. And that is the amount of $617,836.22.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Yes.
Number 19, again, we're requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute OWDA payment request number 2 and contractor's estimate for the wastewater treatment plant project in the amount of $617,836. So that's a reimbursement.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Number 20, requesting the board approve the revision to the 208, section 208 map for Burton Township to reflect the additional parcel 04150506 to Maybe Sewer.
I'm sorry, say that again?
We want to change the 208 map for Burton Township, adding 1 parcel to Maybe Sewer.
Which one's that? Is that the,
It's on, I believe it's Kinsman, and it's geothermal property. They're going to, they need to tie into the system.
Oh,
And that
okay.
parcel does not have approval to tie in yet. It won't be until it's approved.
I'm trying to place that.
geothermal, isn't that on, in Newberry?
Not this one, this is different.
It's in Middlefield. It's
No.
between Burton and Middlefield. It's like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
on
It's a Burton
87,
Industrial
yes.
Park.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We looked it up yesterday. because we
It's a
tried to
property
figure it out.
between White Road and Burton Industrial.
Okay.
Okay. It's right next to the chiropractor?
To be honest with you, I haven't done it, so,
Okay.
I haven't done it, so.
Right.
But they can't move forward without getting into the 208 plan.
Okay.
I make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Commissioner
Aye.
Yes.
And number 21, my last item is to request the board approve and execute the agreement between Board of Commissioners and E.B. Cozy and Associates for land surveying. They're going to do the surveying services for us for the sanitary sewer easement along Plain Road for the Chardon Township wastewater treatment plant. And that's in the amount of $4,032.50.
When will that start? I mean, no, I mean that.
This specifically?
Yeah.
Probably in the next few weeks.
Okay.
The project itself, construction can't start.
No, I know.
Done with the project.
I
Is
make
there,
that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
yes. Is there any other samplings going on down there? No.
Pretty much samples the entire subdivision.
Yeah, yeah.
We've done what we can do, we have a deadline, January, end of January next year. To be done, which we won't be, but hopefully we'll have construction on.
Will Legend Lake be able to tap into that?
Say again?
Legend Lake Golf Course?
If they pay to tap in,
They
but
may.
they're not designed to tap in right now.
Okay.
Could probably take it. Good clubhouse. We've already had
Deep Springs request to come into it, so I mean, build it, they're gonna have people willing to tie in.
Sure.
It's there specifically for Berkshire Heights, so.
Right.
Thanks, keep up the good work, Steve, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Steve, you also need to sign. You can sign it, you're the little stickies.
Okay. So, today the Solid Waste District meeting has been changed, canceled, I believe. Okay. So let's move to what, next Thursday at 10:30, and I believe we'll meet in person
Yes.
for that. There is an ADP meeting today on WebEx at 2 p.m. for anyone that wants to participate in that. I'm sure we can get the instructions. Board of Revision will be Monday morning, same thing, WebEx at 9 a.m. And the Tuesday, the 19th, the regular commissioners meeting has been canceled. Is there a reason for that?
You guys canceled.
Oh, we did it?
You did-
Okay.
You did it on the 5th.
Okay.
Sorry, you cut me off guard.
No, me too. I forgot what's going, yeah.
So we meet again after Memorial Day.
Okay.
On the 28th,
Yes.
Thursday, the 28th,
Okay. I see.
because of the holiday.
Yep. Very well. Okay. Any other questions or comments for the board, anybody? No?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.